Hello, welcome back to Tarot by Andy. Thank you for being here. This is my vibrational reading. Please do your own research for entertainment purposes and allegedlys. So I was on a feed. I'm clearing my deck right now with some Palo Santos. I was on a spread, what was I on? I was on Twitter. That's where I was. And someone mentioned that Harry was a bedwetter. That Harry, so I thought, wow, bedwetter, typically, they oftentimes have ADHD, which is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which has a lot of anxiety. They're very anxiety prone. A lot of bedwetting has to do with being moved around, not doing well with adjustment, sort of an adjustment sort of situation. Can't stay calm in a classroom, can't sit still, can't absorb. So it kind of makes sense with some of them do have learning disabilities. I do know of someone who was a bedwetter who is highly, highly intelligent. So it's not, doesn't fall in line with saying someone has a low IQ necessarily, but there's a high anxiety issue there. And it can affect learning for many of them. It can really, really affect learning if they don't have maybe some other strong personality traits to make up the difference. Is what I'm getting at. So I want to do a spread on Harry and ADHD. Does Harry have ADHD? Does Harry have ADHD? I don't want to go into the bedwetting. I'll just assume it's probably true, quite possibly. So yeah, I don't know all of his life history, but I know a lot of people do. So let's just get to it and ask, does he have ADHD? Does Harry have ADHD? Get some energy on this, and then I will also do my pendulum, do some shuffling first, and then I think I will hit the pendulum and then do the spread. How's that go? Here we go. And I've got Penelope and Odin under my feet here, my two little rebellious dogs, and this one flipped, so I'm going to put that there. Here we go. Harry and ADHD. Harry and ADHD. Does Harry have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder? Does Harry have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder? Does Harry have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder? It is now clearing. Does Harry have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder? Does he have it? Yes, he does. It is saying yes, he does. So bedside, bedwetting aside, I can't prove that, I don't know. Maybe somebody knows there. Can chime in if anybody knows if it's been spoken about publicly. I would not know. I would assume it has been. So we have here is the Six of Wands as the primary card in reverse. So that is feeling like a loser. It is a losing position and not having victory. So victorious in reverse, that's low energy, low ability to feel, doesn't want it to be public for starters, doesn't want the attention on it. This is kind of coldness here because the warmth is in upright. And so this loser position is a narcissist. I also like to refer to this. I have a couple narc cards in my deck. That would be the Knight of Swords, the Page of Swords, and also the Six of Wands. This victory card I like to refer to as a narcissist card too, because they're all about winning, having to win, having to be on top. It's a victory card, but it's also a narcissist card. So in a lot of spreads, it can be read that way, depending on what it's aspected with naturally. So with the sixes is a lack of harmony. So he has a lack of harmony with his body. There's a lack of healing. Because sixes upright is about harmony and healing, and it's in reverse. So he's not in harmonious with his body, I would say, with the energy of his body. And so that's why he would be more inclined to bedwet, because there's that lack of self-awareness, not waking up when you need to get up to go. It also could be that lack of healing because it is a disorder that stays with you for life. It could be managed, but you're never going to get rid of it. And there's that lack of harmony with the, not being anxious. So there's this lack of harmony, I would say, with healing. There's just this lack of harmony with attention. And so there's a lack of attention to detail. Upright, this is about getting attention, having control with attention. Here, cannot control it. So there is a sort of low energy though, but it is low energy. So that's kind of interesting because hyperactivity is high energy. So, but it is kind of a losing position. So I would say maybe the high energy is in this position at times, but then always feeling shut down and told to sit down. You cannot be that way. So then now this person feels like a loser, emotionally a loser. So he's always felt like an emotional loser is how this would be, and that he's never winning. He can never win. So that's basically what that is saying. So the challenging position is the Tower in reverse. This is something you're completely stuck with the situation. You cannot get out of it with the High Tower in reverse. This is a complete collapse. You have to accept it. So this is something you never get over. The Focus is the Lovers in reverse. So there is this duality in reverse. This is having no connection with other people, having a poor, not being able to be at oneness with other people. So that would kind of fall in line because what do? They kind of run around. They can't pay attention. They have a bit of issues with connecting with other people. The sad thing with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which I've read from Quora and psychology books or whatnot, they tend to be they tend to be disliked by their peers. That's why we would have the loser position here, why we have the Tower, and why we have the duality in reverse as a Focus. They are not liked by their peers, which adds to the feeling of being bullied. They feel ostracized often, and that kind of compounds defense mechanisms in them, why they're more likely to maybe get very defensive to a nasty area where they might get rageful and angry. Because there's this rejection, this I'm a failure. The tower's crashing down, and that is my challenge, and I cannot get people to like me. There's a lack of duality. That's very much linked within the traits of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Little kids can pick up on it, and they tend to steer away from them. And that it really does make the situation worse for these little kids, which is really sad. But little kids can pick up on it, and they don't have the logic and the reality or education or anything what's to do, which is appropriate. They're just going to act and react based on the behavior of the other individual. So they just go into reaction modes. It's not meant in a cruel way by the other kids, but they will just sort of, let's stay away from this one. But being who he was, I think he had a better advantage. But for most kids, there's no advantage. So here we go. The Six of Pentacles in reverse here is the position for the future, was the lack of harmony. Sixes is about harmony and healing again, so there was no healing. You don't get over it, you just manage it. It is something you have to manage. And also with the Six of Pentacles, this is giving and receiving card. So he has been given lots of help, but he's no longer getting it now. And also, this is someone who is struggling. In this position, you're still going to struggle. And so this is a struggling position, which led to the near future of heartbreak. So he does go into that raging mode when he feels that lack of acceptance. I think it's an inner wound, a scab that's never fully healed. It gets ripped off. He's got this rage attacks because he's always felt disconnected because of quite possibly this situation. And he doesn't want everyone to know it's public failure. So it's a secret. I would say bedwetting would be a secret. It would be total public failure. He now feels public failure is what this is reading. So total public failure, and that's why he goes into heartache, betrayal. I'm going to stab everybody around me and everyone. So they go into these rage attacks, which is also common. They have poor impulse control. So because of that hyperactivity, they can't control themselves. They just got to react, 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 and then they react out of a defense mechanism to defend themselves because they feel like you're treating me like a loser, and now my world's crashing down. Nobody wants to hang out with me because they are marginalized, set aside, and ignored, oftentimes, sadly. So that is reading kind of positive here. This is looking, not positive, but this is looking suspect is what I'm going to say. This is looking quite possibly I'm onto something here. And then we have here the decision made is the King of Pentacles in reverse. So then he probably felt like, well, you're never going to be the King of England is how I'm feeling seeing this. The decision made was I'm never going to be the king. And so it doesn't really matter. And so he tends to get into a bit of a manipulator, abusive energy. And he gets kind of feeling, this is a fail. They break rules and they get a little bit of a bulliness because they cannot manifest what they want. He's not very good at gathering resources because the King of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles are really good at gathering resources. So he's not really good at gathering resources. He wasn't good at keeping those resources. And so that's why the duality in reverse cannot maintain and keep resources. So that's how I'm feeling about that. Then this position here, the inner emotions was the Nine of Swords. It made him always feel like everyone's telling me no. Why does everyone tell me no all the time? Little kids don't understand that. It feels like cruelty and abandonment, which brings me also to this abandonment issue he has, which I think he also has, which is the borderline personality disorder, which is totally based on abandonment issues. So he's also got this abandonment issue, not only from the ADHD, but from borderline as well because of his mother passing away, and that whole issue triggered that. It's that cruelty, abandonment, I got to end this nightmare. This is someone who's also going to mentally check out, put themselves in a different mental world, feeling left behind. This is I am left behind card. So I would say very definitely high suspect that he not only has he has that borderline personality disorder. He also, I think, has ADHD, and he's got this whole mortification of always being left behind. That is why we see the rage, anger, the lashing out, because he was never going to be king. He was never going to be king, so that's one more scar on his soul, on his feeling inferior. The inferiority complex is really big here. And then we have here the Ace of Cups in reverse as the external pressures, that he has a hard time starting new emotional beginnings. Positive emotions are hard for him to come by. Lots of negative emotions, feeling really let down, not getting the bonding that he truly wants because the other little kids were telling him no. This guy's a little bit slightly off or whatever. And so those little kids pull away from that ADHD kid. As well as for borderlines, because they do a lot of self-imposed, they set things up for failure, and they do tend to make it happen, and then they play victim. It's prove your love for me, prove you're not going to leave me, and so they will push people to their absolute limit, like what he's doing now. They will do the most horrific things to test your love. I'm going to test your love to see if you will still love me. They're always testing people. That's one thing with borderlines. They want to test your love. And many times, after a while, people will pull away and discard them instead of them doing the discarding because they tested that person's love too much. So they end up losing, and it ends up being a self-fulfilled prophecy that I cannot be loved, I am unlovable. It is a defense mechanism. So now he cannot capture that love. He cannot capture those positive emotions. He cannot get that harmony. There is no emotional spark. There's no growth. There's problems with growth. So it is a self-fulfilled prophecy, getting let down. They expect it, they create the situation, then when it unfolds, they say, see, I knew you can never love me. So then they feel unloved. That is the external pressure. That is why we are seeing what we are seeing now. It is a manifestation of ADHD, borderline, with high covert narcissism traits. That is Harry in a nutshell, is what I'm saying. Yes, that is what I'm saying. Here we go, as well as having been a bedwetter most likely as a child. And then we have Four of Cups in reverse as the final outcome. The Four of Cups is lack of stability within himself. He cannot feel energetic. He cannot feel emotionally stable. Fours is all about stability. It is in reverse, not emotionally stable. So what else is with Four of Cups? He's unfulfilled. He must always take new options. He cannot see the good in front of him. This little card here, you have 4 cups, and there are 3 in front of him, and he's being offered 1 cup. He does not want that cup. Usually with this card, you will see the kid with his arms crossed sitting underneath the tree, not accepting that love offering with 3 cups in front of them. So they can never see the good in front of them. They're always with the mindset of I never have enough, or what's offered to them they're not willing to take. Another trait with borderline. A lot of psychotherapists will say borderlines always want to be rescued. They will try to toy with your emotions to see how much you love them. They will test you and test you and test you so that you have to prove your love to them, and they want to be rescued. So a lot of therapists will say, what I was getting to is this: you can throw them a life raft if they are drowning in a pool, but they will throw that life raft back at you and keep drowning and say, save me, save me, save me. You throw the life raft back, they will throw it back at you. There is a pleasure and enjoyment and a comfort in chaos. Since they're internally feeling so much inner chaos, they want to create an external chaos going on so that the brain can have balance. The brain wants balance. The brain seeks balance from the external world to the internal world. So they test, push you away, test you, push you away, claim victim. Nobody loves me. And so I'm seeing this big old link here, and I'm going to call it as being that. I have always suspected those 3 traits, those 3 disorders, as being Harry. So yeah, I think he's definitely has ADHD, borderline personality with comorbidity of covert narcissism, or at least very high covert narc traits, and that's why we see what we see now. It is, he's testing to the absolute limit. You've got to prove your love of me. And this is so typical. It is so typical. They will crash everything around, feel like a loser, test your love, prove to me. And then when people finally say, that's it, I've had enough, they are always the victim. They are always the 10 of swords. You stabbed me in the back, or I cannot get out of bed. This is a nightmare. When will this get over? You told me no. Why did you tell me no? Why? Because you kept testing the strength and the love and the devotion of other people around you. So that is how I feel about that. So I had to do a psychology spread. I hadn't done one in a while, so there you go. I hope you got that, and I hope you understand all that. And yes, I have my play button pushed, so yay for me. I don't have to start over. I hate that when that happens. So here we go. Let's get some more cards on Harry. Here we go. Harry is trying to work at getting that great fortune. That is what he is busy on, and it is becoming an unpleasurable task because it is tool and labor. That is not a passion job. That is not a passion job whatsoever. That is a job you don't really enjoy, and that is what he is stuck with at this point in time. And as I got yesterday, Dad is really irritated. Dad is cutting him out, and that's what he's going to be stuck with. Doing jobs he doesn't truly love, and now he's going to be on the clock. Congratulations, Harry. You get to be on the clock like everybody else. And he's got to make progress. He's feeling time is limited. He's got to work on it. It takes time, cycles, time to heal, progress. So he's going to take very slow progress in getting better healing. And he is definitely on the clock now, or he will be. Okay, here we go. He's joining that one group where he's going to be an impact officer as soon as the COVID lifts and whatnot. So yeah, they might have him on the clock. Here we go, more of Harry. We have here high honors. Yep, he enjoys the high honors. He enjoys the perks of being a royal, but he doesn't want the duty and the job and the hard work and the day-to-day tasks. He wants to be the playboy prince. That's what I got yesterday or the day before. Here we go. Boom, there we go. I got back again my borderline card, borderline personality disorder card. This is what I called it. You could see it. I wrote it right there on that card. It is because this person is grasping at everybody, everything. Don't leave me, love me, don't abandon me, please stay with me. Grasping and grasping. That is the octopus. So obviously there are some other reasons in the book, but that fit the trait that I just described. So yes, so that is Harry the octopus. And I got Odin snoring. If you hear some snoring, that is Odin. He is really going to town right now, you guys. So let's see, what else can I do a spread on? I want to find out what will the queen do. What will the queen do? Yeah, Odin, can you please chill out the snores, man? He's pretty loud, I'll tell you. I can't sleep in the same room with him. I've watched some other reader, and her dog just snores major logs. It's hilarious. Now I got it going on underneath my table. All right, so let's get Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth. Queen Elizabeth. What is she going to do with Parliament and removing the Sussexes? And, they are in charge as well as the Queen. So let's just get general vibe of the two combined. The two combined, the Queen and Parliament, what are they going to do? What are they going to do about the Sussex titles? What are they going to do about the Sussex titles? The Queen and Parliament, what are they going to do? 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 Oh, we're going to hear the logs now. Here we go. We got here strength. They're going to remain strong. She is going to remain strong, very strong. Challenging position is the Wheel of Fortune in reverse. She knows that things are not working out for them. This is a death and rebirth card, but for them it's completely breaking a cycle because it's in reverse. The wheel is cracking for them. Nothing is going to go into the Sussexes' favor. It is going to go against them. It is luck in reverse, so it is completely bad luck. Their destiny will not be with the family. There's going to be a major change, and it's not going to be a pretty one for them. The focus is she's going to make it happen. She's got to manifest it. Got to make it happen. They got to make it happen. The Ace of Swords in reverse here, with the High Priestess in reverse as the hidden energy, and then the Chariot here. So they have to, basically, for the near future, they've got it. That's the battle of the wills. They got the battle of the wills. They got to push forward so they can win. And what's going to end up happening is we have the Ace of Swords in reverse. That is going to be basically, with the Ace of Swords in reverse, that is being cruel, guarded, and it can be definitely cutting them out. There's no hope. There's no victory. It is going to be excessive force, and it is a conflict. It's not a new conflict, though. It's an old conflict, and it is a very defensive card. They're going to be very defensive towards them. Okay, snoring Odin. Yeah, he's my boy. Okay, here we go. We got here for the 7th position. The decision made is the Knight of Swords in reverse. So this is the Knight is the total battle card. This is we are totally going to war. This is war, but when it's in reverse, it's even worse. It gets real dirty. It gets really dirty in this position. So it's going to get dirty, and they know it. It's the dirty, dirty position, okay? And they're going to do it. They're going to seed it. The sun is seeding. And so they're going to seed the situation. And that is the inner emotions. They want to be happy, and they're going to seed the situation. And the external pressures with the situation is the Queen of Wands because of Markle. They know she's in control over there. And then we have here the decision made is the Emperor in reverse. They're going to be... The Emperor in reverse is they're not going to build with them anymore. They're not going to be concerned about being that respected leadership position, being super strategic. They're going to be dominator, inflexible. They're going to be unbending when they deal with them. They're not going to build with them anymore. There is no more building with you. We're done with you. So they're done with them in a nutshell. So I see it happening. And then we have here in front of the whole world. Wow. In front of the whole world, it's going to be total completion. Harmony, fulfilled, success for the royals. So they're going to cut them out. They're going to take their titles. That's what this is saying. Totally, 100%. All right, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Till next time, and along with Snoring Odin, I hope you have a great day, great afternoon, or evening. Okay, bye, you guys.